Another question from a friend, and I'm trying to find the right words to it. The question goes something like this. So, I should be really happy. Like, my life is not giving me much reason to not feel very joyful and happy all of the time. And I even know that my purpose, so to speak, in life is to be joyful and is to be happy. But, you know, so what should we make of this? Let's find an answer. So first of all, congratulations to recognizing that indeed your purpose, if you want to call it that, is joy. We could had a conversation recently with a friend about whether or not these are the right words to put it, in the sense that maybe the reason of life or the purpose of life is just to live, or just life wants to live itself, life just is, it is without contradiction. And I would say that, well, if that's what joy is, that's what the state of joy is that there is no contradiction. Like, as we have our mind where we can put contradictions in, filters that skew our view, that adjust our perspective in a way that we will feel less than joyful. And this is actually already leading into the answer to your question, which is, so life itself, if you don't put anything in there that would negatively affect the perception of life, that would be pure joy. Because the definition would be that there is no resistance to perceiving things as they really are, and when there's no resistance, life is at its most. There is no, like, the river just flows perfectly, and the flower just does its thing, it just blooms, whatever it does, it just is there and does its thing, and it's perfect, and it's completely joyful. It's full of, that's something that we would, if we were to experience a flower doing its thing, we would experience complete joy, complete non-resistance about all the aspects that the flower is. The flower is at perfect peace in every moment with everything that it is itself, with all of its surroundings. It feels completely connected. It feels that it is achieving its purpose. It feels so fulfilled. It is filled. It is a pure expression and experience of that which a flower is. And as a human, we as a human would translate that as pure joy. So here are some hints for you in search for an answer to this question. And it's that if you leave out all the resistance, then you would experience pure joy in every moment, and in your sense fulfill your purpose of joy in every moment. And then the question becomes, so if resistance is, we could say, my enemy in this case, or if resistance is, well, the thing you're looking for, or the thing that we're talking about here, the thing that could turn a perfectly joyful experience into one that is not perfectly joyful. So the question is, what is resistance? Where does it come from? And it's simply, so there are infinite ways of expressing and experiencing resistance, and then of course an infinite number of ways to describe it, to talk about it, to find words that convey the meaning and that that lead to understanding, so then you can drop some of that resistance. And it's basically right. So we as human beings, what we are at the core of things is we are a focusing mechanism. So there is all of creation, and there is no space and time, if you will. And this is not just an imaginary thing I'm describing, but it's reality. There is no space and time. Space and time are just constructs of our playground that we have here. And so there is this huge amount of data, or infinite experience, infinite everything present in this moment, and it is in this moment. And the human experience is like it's like an extension, or like maybe if what you usually see is the whole picture, and when you get what is it called, these is it the spyglass or something, so something that contracts your focus to just this area, but in a way it deepens it, or it just changes the whole experience when you look through, a glass like this, a telescope or whatever it's called. So you can, or a microscope even, you infinitely enhance this view, or make it larger, make it seem bigger, and you take just a tiny portion of what you would see otherwise, and you just zoom in, you just focus in on that. And this is the human experience. You tune out everything else, and you just focus on this particular experience, and you just go through it. Like if it's a microscope, you just move whatever you're looking at, move it a bit, or move the microscope, and this is something that creates motion. When if you see everything at once, there's basically no motion. It's just the motion is created through looking at something in sequence, so to speak. You move your focus in a way that you create the illusion of movement and everything. So this is the human experience. Human is about focus. We are a focus, and we are tuning out most of the stuff that exists in all that is in infinite reality, infinite everything, the infinite universe of universes. And so we just focus on something, and this is our main mechanism. And this is what everything ties into. Everything that is part of our experience ties into this. Our focus is everything, and this is the human lens, so to speak. There's one thing, the human focus, and there is another thing that is also integral to our experience and to our functioning in this world and to our navigation, everything. And this is the one part is the very human, purely human lens, and we are for focus. And the other part is our divine self, our higher self, inner being, whatever you want to call it. It's that other part of ourselves that is where there are no thoughts, or that is not comprised of thinking, but that is pure, whatever you want to call it, pure beingness, pure energy, pure consciousness, pure whatever everything is made of, everything is made of at the tiniest, or at the core of things. So there's this divine part of us, this higher part of us, this inner part of us, this thing that we actually are. We are an extension of this thing, whatever it is, that basically there are no words to describe. Some call it God, force, life force, whatever. Pick your philosophy, pick your words. I don't care. So we are an extension of this thing. The human lens is an extension of that, but the extension is still connected back, of course, to where it came from, if you want to speak in those terms. And so this, where we came from, how we experience this, is our emotions. Yeah, basically it's our emotions. That's how these two parts communicate with each other. So we're getting there. So joy, if we experience joy, or if the flower experiences pure joy in a moment, then what happens is that, so the flower is a much less sophisticated lens extension into this time-space reality. And it is basically mostly built to just be in pure joy. It doesn't have many filters, like it doesn't have a mind like we do. It serves a very different purpose. It plays a very different role in this environment. It is much more part of just nature, and we are much more, I don't know, active, individualized, personalized, and much more full of resistance. Like we are much more capable to introduce things into our being, into our lens that, you know, that correspond to what we would call our emotions of fear and, you know, anger and all of those things, the whole spectrum up to absolute love and, you know, purity and joy. And so the flower is just in perfect alignment basically with itself, with its non-physical counterpart. It is in alignment, and if we were to experience that, we would experience pure joy. We would, through this connection back to our non-physical part, we would be sent the signal of pure joy. Basically, that would be the emotional translation of this experience. So that means that joy is just the alignment, the coincidence, the synchronous experience of the lens being focused in the exact same way that... Now this is a little bit hard to describe, to find the right words for it, but it's like if the non-physical part would be looking at, like using, if it would focus itself directly into this world and would be looking at the same thing that the flower is looking at, then it would, these two experiences would match, and then this would be pure joy. So if the flower chooses to look at itself and everything that it is capable of looking at, if it were to choose that in the same way as its non-physical counterpart would do that, this is pure joy. They're resonating at exactly the same frequency. They would be the same. So this is pure joy. And we as human beings, if we do the same thing, so if we put our lens on something, if we focus, whatever we focus on, if we were to look at it in the same way that our non-physical counterpart, that our soul, that our, I don't know, whatever life force energy would look at this, then we experience pure joy. So that means remove everything from inside your lens, and what these things are, we'll talk about in a second. But remove everything from your lens that doesn't belong in there, that is not in perfect alignment with how your source would see this thing. So look at everything with pure love. Love everything, whatever that means. So, and the things that we can focus on, or on which we can focus on in ways that are counter to how our source is looking at these things, is the thoughts that we think, is the vibrations then that we choose. But it's basically the thoughts that we think, the beliefs that we hold, and to a degree the things that we choose to look at, because for some things we have such strong beliefs in our minds that we just would have a really hard time to look at this with pure love and pure joy, to find all of the aspects that are purely positive about this thing that we're looking at. So for some people that would be looking at the diseased body. That's something that's true for me. I cannot look at that without, that just tears me apart. Or like then I just instantly move from joy, whatever state I was in, to pure, wow, feels terrible. So pick, if you want a pure joyful experience, it's very easy. You just focus on the things that you can focus on while feeling joy. If you cannot focus on something while you're feeling joy, you can, if you want to, you can feel the emotion you're experiencing, and in that will be contained all of the answers and all of the information as to what you're thinking about this thing and why you're and then how you're feeling about it very specifically, right? And then you can look at that and just, you know, play and change those beliefs, change those thoughts that you have about this. So for example, if you're looking at another person, you can understand that, oh, you have thoughts like, oh, this person always gets me down. So your focus and your source would never look at this person in this way, so you experience something less than joy. Right. So this is that part, and I feel like contained in that question is still another part about, so how would I go about experiencing joy all of the time? And yes, I guess I said it in a way, but let's make it more clearer. Let's make it more specific. And it's really, or put it another way, if I'm not experiencing pure joy, which I think I could, and you are right that you could, and you are right to desire that, and you are right that it's attainable, and you're right that it's your purpose to get there, if you want to put it that way, or if you want to see it that way. And not everyone has to. But if you want to see it that way, that's correct. And it's not hard at all to get there. It's very easy. And you have all the guidance to get there. And it's contained in your emotions. So just be very aware of how you feel. Don't be sloppy in your focusing. Use your focus very deliberately. Focus on those things that you wish to focus on. Realize how you feel when you focus on those things. This is your feedback that comes back from your source that tells you, you know, you're looking at this in this specific way, and there are these and these and these and these thoughts that create this, or that create this emotion, or that are the reason for the emotion to be in this way. I'm telling you how I would look at it, and I'm telling you all the components that do not fit. I'm showing you all the, if you want, all the notes, all the notes that are out of sync, out of harmony with the symphony that we're playing here, with who you actually are, and who I am, and who you are, and who we are capable of being together, who we are, and our purpose is to resonate as two slightly different parts, like the very human part, the physical part, and non-physical part. If we are in sync, we experience pure joy, and this is where you want to go, and this is why I'm telling you. So you're looking at this thing that you're choosing to focus on right now in this and this and this way. These are the thoughts that are active about it, and inside this emotion you have all the information necessary to understand everything that is going on about this thing that you're focusing on, and inside that is contained all of the paths, all of the steps, all of the next steps, the next logical steps that lead you to seeing this thing in a way that you really want to see this, that I'm looking at it and that you want to be looking at it as well. So make it a priority to deliberately focus on whatever you want to focus on. Make it a priority to always be present with your emotions, always be present in your body, present with your emotions, experiencing them fully, acknowledging them, letting them be alright. And taking them, using them as your primary navigational information. So make all of your decisions. So if you want to be truly joyful, make all of your decisions from this place of feeling good, or of reaching for feeling good, reaching for feeling better, reaching for that all of the time, following your emotional guidance. This is what it's for. This is what is intended to be leading you to the place of absolute joy. And Right. Try and, or intend not to compromise on your emotions, intend to find ways for your mind to be able to relax more so it doesn't think it has to control everything, so you don't have to make so many decisions with, or like making where you have to make a compromise with your mind, you know, where you have to figure those things out. So right. And if you take those things too hard, or let yourself recognize that those are the things that your heart is already telling you and has always been, and follow its guidance, follow its lead, trust it as much as you can, know that you are supported, that you are loved, that everything is well, that well-being is the order of the day, that this is your path, that this is your purpose if you want, that this is where all the good stuff is. This is the voice that is leading you to your heaven on earth, to the realization of all of your dreams, while achieving a feeling of perfect joy and peace and happiness in, not necessarily in every moment, because the human experience is one of contrast, of grabbing things, figuring out what they mean to you and all that, but fundamentally a very, 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 very positive experience overall. This is where this is leading you. Trust it, follow it, and you'll be good.